the dawn of post-labor humanity. Once confined to the imagination of science fiction, artificial intelligence now walks beside us in everyday life. It translates languages in real time, identifies diseases with precision, drafts legal documents, composes symphonies, and tutors children across the globe. What once felt like spectacle is now routine. And beneath that familiarity, a silent revolution advances. One that could render between 400 and 800 million jobs obsolete by the end of this decade. Even these staggering figures may prove modest. Some forecasts suggest that generative AI alone could automate nearly a third of all labor hours, dissolving roles that only yesterday felt invulnerable. But this shift, while economic on the surface, strikes far deeper. It unravels a cultural mythology. For generations, the structure of daily life, the rhythms of self-worth, even the language we use to introduce ourselves, have revolved around work. To ask someone, "What do you do?" has always meant, "Who are you?" If that question no longer holds weight, if careers slip from the social imagination, then we find ourselves staring not into a new labor market, but into a void of identity. It's tempting to imagine that this void might be filled with ease. Universal basic income, funded by the enormous productivity gains of AI, is often presented as a salve. Some economic models propose that even without raising taxes or inventing new jobs, the profits from intelligent machines could support a modest guaranteed income. But money is not meaning. Material stability may soften the fall, but it cannot replace the rituals, status, and sense of forward motion that once came from labor. History offers faint comfort here. When past waves of automation swept away jobs, new ones always emerged. Factory replaced farm, then office replaced factory. But this time, there may be no such reshuffling. What disappears may not be simply employment, but the very need for human effort in many domains. And when people no longer feel needed, something deeper begins to fray. It is not only anxiety about the future, it is a struggle to make sense of the present. And yet, if we are no longer defined by our roles in the workplace, the door opens to a profound reimagining. With time once spent chasing wages now freed, the imagination might become our new economy. In some corners of life, we already see it happening. People painting, composing, building worlds with code or clay, not for profit, but for the pleasure of making something meaningful. Art becomes not a luxury, but a new form of citizenship, an act of contribution, of belonging. Others may turn to learning, not for credentials, but for curiosity. Imagine a world where the study of philosophy or physics or forgotten languages is no longer confined to academia, but woven into everyday life, driven by wonder rather than pressure. In the absence of the rat race, learning becomes play, and knowledge, a shared feast rather than a private ladder. With so much mental energy once spent on survival now redirected, people might also gravitate toward the kinds of work machines cannot do, those rooted in empathy, stewardship, and care. There are gardens to restore, neighbors to support, and global dilemmas that algorithms alone can't solve. The world still needs hands, eyes, and hearts, especially when decisions demand ethics, compassion, or creativity beyond code. And then there is play. Not idle distraction, but a reawakening of human challenge. Games not just for amusement, but for bonding, experimentation, and even governance. In the absence of traditional competition, people may find meaning in constructing complex virtual worlds, navigating quests that mirror real-world goals, or engaging in social puzzles that build trust and cooperation. Of course, even this new horizon holds its perils. influence will not disappear. It will simply take new forms. In the absence of titles and salaries, status may flow to those who shape narratives, who gather communities, who master disciplines no longer policed by institutions, a philosopher who moves hearts, a coder who open sources tools for all, a group that guides AI with wisdom and restraint. These may become the new cultural architects. But without equitable access to the tools of creativity and the spaces for dialogue, we risk entrenching old hierarchies in unfamiliar shapes. The challenge, then, is not just to survive the end of work, but to shape a world where meaning still pulses in our lives. We will need to learn new values, ones not drawn from productivity, but from participation. Values that celebrate flourishing over winning, collaboration over accumulation, and dignity over efficiency. The future won't be built by machines alone. It will be built by the stories we tell each other and the courage we show in living them. Because what we're confronting is not just a technical revolution, it is a narrative one. We are being asked to write a new human story, one no longer dictated by the alarm clock or the paycheck, but by what we love, what we care for, and what we choose to create together. The most urgent question is no longer, what will we do for work, but what kind of people will we become when we no longer have to?